as far as real estate goes, when I started full time, because I was part time for 3 years, and then since the end of 2019, I've been full time. So since I started real estate, I really struggled in the beginning, and then my broker actually paid for, I think like 8 of us to go to a course called Ninja Selling,
Yeah.
which I'm sure you're familiar with. And that alone, I mean, I didn't pay for it, but I say it was worth every penny,
Yeah.
because that alone, oh my gosh, like the shift in perspective. I think thinking of the no and thinking that there is a no, and then remembering that there's more to it, then not accepting the no, but thinking, okay, well, they're not there yet. Let's be a resource. Let's be somebody that they can count on
Yeah.
if they have questions about anything. If they want to know if they have a roof leak and need a roofer, if they want to know the value of their house to refinance, like
Right.
basically be somebody that they can just call at any moment, because then you'll get the yes later.
Yeah. Yeah. It's always so interesting. When you're talking about backgrounds before they got into, before someone gets into the business. And I just know that was um, a huge value add that you went through that uh, before becoming a real estate agent. So 2012, you decide to get your license because you had one credit left that you had to fulfill, and you decided to
Yeah.
go get into real estate. Um, I always ask, and it sounds like you kind of graduated around the same time as me, and I always say like our group of individuals around that time frame, it was probably to me the last of the go get a degree if you want a great job
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
environment. And when I got out in 2011, the job market was not that great, and I got in 3 weeks after graduating from Ohio State. I got into real estate and
Mhm.
just been doing it ever since. So for you, I'm curious, did you have supporters? Did you have doubters? You know, Coming out of college, right? You got a degree. That was supposed to be the thing that got us the job and the security. I know you mentioned that you did it part time or started part time, but can you kind of walk me through some of that initial process between supporters or doubters, and then what did that first year or so look like for you to go out and start building your business? And
So, okay, so I didn't even graduate. Like I graduated high school in '09, but like my college took way, way longer than it should have. I
sure.
graduated in 2016 and got my license in May of 16. So the first 3 years of having my license, um, it's interesting because I think this is a very common mental journey for everybody. Because I was expecting people to beat down my door, like, "Oh my God, Megan, you have your license now. We can buy a house with you. Awesome." But then I had a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, we'll buy a house with you, or we'll like help us do this." But then they would never call me back, or they would never, or I
Hmm.
see that they buy a house on Facebook. And again, I'm super butthurt about that because I was like, you told me you would use me. Like, why did you
Right.
go and use somebody else? But like what I didn't understand that I understand now, I tell every agent that's getting their license, I'm like, really, truly, if you're going to be an agent, you need to be full time. Like, jump into it feet first. Like, it's going to be scary. It's going to be hard, but just do it because, I mean, I can't remember like a specific verbiage for this, but basically, if your energy is like split, rather than doing 100% of anything, you're gonna be doing 50% of both, or 30% if you're splitting three ways. So I was doing the marketing full time, but I was absolutely not doing real estate full time. I was sending
Hmm.
out like calendars, and I would send things in the mail, and I would occasionally post on Facebook. But like basically like my those 3 years were really difficult, but I think it was because of me. Like, it wasn't because business wasn't there, it was because I didn't know how to get it.
Yeah.
First of all, I didn't know how to market myself, and I think I just didn't know the industry at all, really. So as far as supporters, my broker's been really excellent at like, in my brokerage, like all the agents, like they all are very cooperative. They want everyone to do well, and it's been really an incredible environment for my career to be fostered in. However, people like my family, like again, my ex-husband at the time, did not like real estate was a hassle, and that was the only reason I had my license was to get investments. So like if anything pulled me away from the marketing business, he was not a fan of that. And then
Right.
I told this story not too long ago. My family, and then my sister ended up buying a house using another agent, and they didn't like I did not have that support from my family. I had it from my brokerage, but then I'm not going to go out and seek it from them. You know, like
Right.
I would prefer to have it from my family. But I actually told this story the other day. My grandmother was always like super candid about the fact that she was like towards the end of her life, like she'd be like, "Oh, honey, I'm dying soon." I'm like, "I'm 18. Like I can't handle hearing you say that." But I mean, fast forward a few years. But I remember having a conversation with her, like, "Oh, well, grandma, we were talking about her estate, so I didn't just bring this up out of nowhere." But
Right.
we were talking about her estate, and I was like, "Well, maybe it would be awesome if you would have me if I could sell your house." And she deadpan looked at me and goes, "Oh, honey, no. Like we need somebody that knows people. You don't know anybody." And obviously, she was 90 years old. She was
Yeah.
in the mindset of non-internet age where you did have to network a ton and you had to have
Right.
those relationships with people. So that's the kind of support I got from my family, which wasn't much at all. So,
Well,
um,
sometimes I was just talking to an agent about this today. Like, sometimes the biggest hurdle that agents have, especially getting into the business, because again, our industry is not one where you join right out of high school or you join right out of college, right? Typically, it's your second, third, fourth, fifth career choice, and that's just the nature of our industry.
right.
And a lot of people struggle with showing their sphere of influence, showing their family members that they see Megan in this light as what you were or what you were doing or used to be doing versus Megan in this light as a real estate agent that knows her stuff,
Yep.
right? And that I help a lot of agents get into the business, and that's what I see as the biggest challenge is you have to get yourself into a position with the people already know you and like you. You
Mhm.
have to get them to trust you that you are the expert when it comes to real estate,
Yeah.
and you have to change their view of you.
Yeah.
And I always say, like, a lot of times, like, family and friends are not the best clients to work with because they don't see you as the expert. They
No.
see you as the friend. They see you as the sister or the brother or the cousin or the nephew or whoever,
And I think real estate's
and
a
and
hobby.
they abuse it, right?
Yeah.
They abuse the relationship because that line isn't there.